Thanks anyway." "Just what is it you don't buy?" Bottoms asked. "I don't hate anybody." "Shit, man. You gotta hate somebody just to live, so we picked niggers and Jews. What's the big deal?" "Every time I ever hated anybody, even for a little while, it did more damage to me than him. Besides, I know some real good black people and some real good Jews. In fact, in both cases, I've known a lot more good ones than bad ones. Trouble with you people is you've got to hate somebody else so you can feel worthwhile. That's what I don't buy." "Look, Warden," Bottoms said, and he sounded exasperated, "you got a lot of time to pull in this joint, and every time you walk out in the yard, somebody's going to try and beat the shit out of you because you used to be heat. Now, so far, nobody's been able to do it, but I'll tell you something, my friend, you're not looking so good." "Well," Jesse said, "I've got 30 days of solitary to rest up." Bottoms stood up, and his full stature was awe-inspiring. "You're going to need your rest, buddy, because if I don't hear by the time your solitary hitch is up that you're ready to join up with us, then the next guy you meet in the yard is going to be me." Bottoms looked him up and down. "What are you, 6'3", 220? "That's close enough, I guess. It's been a while since I got measured and weighed." "Most places, that's big. Not in here." Bottoms rapped on the steel door. "You better be in touch, you hear?" The door opened, and Bottoms strode out of the cell. Then the door slammed shut again. Jesse sank onto the bunk and stretched out his aching limbs. The guy he had just fought had kicked him hard in the thigh, and it hurt worse than his cut eye. He had another 30 days to do in this cell, and he was looking forward to the rest. Still, with no radio or TV and no reading matter, it would be hard. Once again he was alone with himself, and the company was lousy. Whenever Jesse closed his eyes, the same picture came back to him. It was the best year of their marriage. Beth was healthy after losing a breast to cancer 5 years before. Carrie, named after his mother, was nearly 4, smart and pretty. They had the little house in Coral Gables, and he was moving up in the Drug Enforcement Agency. Jesse had never thought of being a cop. He'd had his life all planned. It was college, law school, a few years in an Atlanta firm, then back to North Georgia to set up a practice. Then Beth got pregnant and sick at the same time. Jesse's parents were dead, and Beth's weren't rich. She had to quit her job, and the part-time work he had in the admissions office wasn't enough to support them. There was nothing to do but leave law school and look for a job. The DEA was recruiting on campus, and they made working for the government look attractive and secure. Beth recovered, the baby was born healthy, and things started looking up. That year was the best, not just because they were comfortable and happy, but because the future looked so bright. Jesse had enrolled part-time in law school, and once the degree was his, he could rise to new heights in the Justice Department. His assignment to the South Florida Task Force had been a plum. It was where the action was, where promotions happened and careers were made. He was 28, smart, hard-working, making big busts on a regular basis, and his superiors, once they got past his hillbilly drawl, thought of him as a comer. Then Beth had gotten sick again. Her first illness had been covered by her parents' medical insurance, but when they got married, that lapsed. Then, when he had joined the DEA, her cancer was excluded from his insurance as a pre-existing condition. Suddenly, all the money was going to doctors, medical laboratories, and hospitals. Beth took 14 months to die, and meanwhile, Jesse was left thoroughly in hock, with nearly $400,000 in outstanding medical